Hi, and we're back with your micro-credential lecture two. Woohoo! AI. Today we'll be talking about how to use prompts, how to speak to AI. So you'll get what you want in this discussion relationship you're building with AI. And that will help you not be intimidated by anything that AI throws at us in the future, because we'll be able to talk it through. So I'm excited about helping you with that. And then we're going to talk about chatbots. I'll be introducing to you chatbots. Like I said, the last time we did this course, I introduced it on the last lecture, which I think is too late, especially with how effective they are in many people's final solutions. And then I will be talking about your assignment one. I have some different ways that I have produced my assignment one to give you an example of all your alternatives. And I hope you'll find them as fascinating as I do. So and it's entertaining. So let's continue here. We finished week one, and in week one, we talked about the outline of the course, which I've reiterated for you here, an overview of what AI is, and some solutions that you might be interested in for yourself based on what other students have done in the past for AI solutions, other business people that have taken this course like yourselves, and what I hear you might be interested in. Try to incorporate that in what solutions might look like. And then today, as I said, we'll be talking about prompt engineering and chatbots. And that will take us then to next week, where we are talking about AI business development and market planning. So I'm excited about that. It's one of my favorite weeks. It really is an extension of the AI prompts that we talk about today. So I'll start sprinkling in there some cool marketing content tips. And then the following week is on marketing excellence. So that's where we'll be really diving into some AI video techniques and AI all sorts of different ways to create your marketing content. And then on the week of the 5th lecture, we're together, which is the 18th of November. Notice we did skip a week there. We skipped, I think, November 4th. But the week of November 18th, we're talking about productivity and automation. At that time, I will also bring in analytics because we hadn't talked about that yet. How to leverage the power of AI in analytics. And then the last week we're together already, it's going to go by like that, is going to be on how to implement AI in an organization. So AI management, and AI governance. And of course, each time we're live together, we'll be talking about solutions and what you might be trying to do. And I find that we get a lot out of that. We're reviewing that together live in our Tuesday sessions from 6 until 7. Okay, so that's it for now. Let's get started. So, what is a prompt? A prompt are instructions that you give to AI. So, think of it as you've just started working someplace at a new company. What instructions do they give you? What are your duties? What are your roles? Who do you report to? Who are your clients, whether they're internal clients or external clients? So that's really what you're letting AI know is who they are to you. You're in charge. You're the boss of AI. So you're going to be sharing with it its instructions and tasks. You're going to be letting it know what lanes it must stay in. So, where is it getting its content from? You need to let it know that. And you need to then let it know that you may want to, which I recommend you do, check its references and the content it's using. When you have a new employee, you're going to check the references. You're going to then check their work to make sure that it's on the right track. Same thing with AI. I like that analogy. It feels a little more comfortable. And then when you are giving it the content to use, you let it know that it's safe to use these different sources, or you want it to explore different sources, okay? And then you want to know what kind of how, how do you want it to communicate to you? So as well, when you have a new employee, do you want them sitting in your office and talking to you nonstop? Or would you like a daily report? Would you like a weekly report? Would you like this report as a document, as a video, as an audio? How would you like this report? So I love matrices because I've got my undergrad in computers and my master's of engineering. So I was trying to figure out why I like matrices the other day. So it must be those two things. But I probably did those two things because I like matrices. So it probably has nothing to do with that. My world likes a chart. I prefer a chart. I like weighted averages. To me, they just work. They're a lot of fun. And they're the facts, sticking to the facts. So when I ask AI for something, I ask it in the form of a chart because I think that way. And I like to know, the different columns are going to give me perhaps its source. It's going to give me what I've asked for. It's going to give me what they think that source did well and how I can do better, especially if I'm asking for a competitive analysis, which I love. So you need to let it know who it is, what it's doing for you, what it's allowed to do, what it's not allowed to do, that you will be checking the answers and letting the and be the final authority. And then you want to tell it how often to communicate and how to communicate to you. Cool, eh? So if you think of it that way, I think you'll be fine. And so understanding an AI prompt, there are ranges of prompts. There's a prompt where you just simply give it a initial input and it gives you an output. Those are simple questions. It's like almost like going to Google. Well, I can't say his name too loud because he'll try answer me right now. It's almost going to Google and asking it a question and it gives you a response. The difference is AI will give you not just links to go to, it's going to give you a thought process, it's going to give you a response. You don't even have to go to the websites it's talking about, but you can and should just to check the sources. Other times, you may want it to act as a coach or a consultant to you, where you've asked it to be a consultant and act that way, where it's asking you a question, you're answering. Then it builds on that question and you're answering. It really ignites um, your creativity. Some try to tell us that AI will stifle our creativity. When used properly and correctly, it actually ignites your creativity because it takes you down roads you wouldn't have thought of otherwise, and it's fascinating. So the complex commands are exciting, and that's some of the prompts we'll be taking you through simple prompts and the complex prompts. So they're crucial the way you're speaking to it because the output is you need to be accurate so that your output is relevant. So in the old days when AI came out, they kept on using the word AI hallucinates. And sometimes it still does, where you're asking it a question on something to do with mugs, and all of a sudden you're getting something to do with roses. Thinking it's hallucinating. So often I find it's the way we've asked the question. We were not clear. The way we asked the question was interpreted very differently. So we need to be very clear on how we are asking our questions. And it's getting better at understanding what we mean. So it's not hallucinating as much, but however, it still does hallucinate from time to time. Don't we all? So, the importance of clear prompts, AI excels at understanding precise instructions. So, your clarity improves its output. So, here are 7 steps to a good prompt, and then I'll be sharing a video with you. I'm not going to, I might go through the entire video on this. How much time? Yeah, I think I might go through the entire video. I believe it was only 5 minutes. And I just like the way she explains how to speak to AI and the prompts. So, 7 steps to a prompt is be specific, avoid ambiguity. Like if you say, I'd like to know where to go for dinner, probably should say where, what type of food, perhaps your budget, the ambiance, so where meaning the geographic location, how many people. Let me share with you this a perfect prompt from one of the people that I put on our playlist, and I respect how she presents her materials. And what she's talking about is provide sufficient context, which we talked about, provide prompt in stages. Now, I like that. Let me share with you why. When I was creating my action figure that I'll show you at the end for assignment 1, I gave it a lot of information and then somehow it messed up because I gave it too much information. So I ended up giving the information again in clearer and in chunk sizes, and I had it reiterated, and it worked out much better. Then I realized it actually forgot what I gave it probably 3 prompts ago, even though it was in the same thread, and I had to put the pictures back up. I'll show you what I mean when we get to that assignment, but I like how she talks about it here. Be specific, provide examples. So all that works there where you need to provide examples sometimes because we're assuming it knows a little more than it does at times. Suggest a prompt. So what that means is I might create a prompt and then I might ask it, what would be a better prompt for asking you this specific question or specific help on something? What prompt should I use? So sometimes asking AI what prompt you should use, it's kind of cool because it'll ask you to create a prompt, add some elements to it you may not have thought of. Explain it like I'm 5. So this sometimes you're asking AI to explain something to you like you're 5. I don't. No, we're not restarting right now. Restart now, not now. That is not correct. What you need to do is ask it to explain it to you, depending on who you want it to be talking to. So if you are asking it to create some material for your target client, and your target client are CEOs from across the world, you may not want it to explain it like it's 5. You want it to speak to your audience. So I have some clients where their target audiences happen to be women over 50. That prompt is going to speak to that so that the output, if I'm asking for social media content, is going to look differently and it's going to sound differently than if the clients were in their teens. So you need to not always say, explain it like I'm 5. Ask for clarification, ask for reasoning, ask for it in plain English. Again, you need to indicate the tone. It may not always be in plain English, but it could be that you'd like it animated, you'd like it a little more sparky, you'd like it to have a little more professionalism. So you need to say how you'd like the tone. More official, less official. I like my tone to be casual, a little funny, because that's what I think I am. So then ask for in this case, she likes to ask for herself to be understated British voice. So that's cool. And then, so let's just see what she has to say. We're not going to go through the whole thing together, but I just wanted to share it with you so you can watch more of it on your own if you like. Again, it's part of the content that I have for you.
In this video, I'm going to give you 12 tips for getting better answers from ChatGPT or any other AI tool. If you're new here, I'm Aga. I run an online education business with more than 1.5 million followers across social media. And on this channel, I share my top tips on content, AI, and productivity. Let's get this video started. So my first tip on how to get better responses from ChatGPT or any other AI tool is to provide sufficient context. Look at this prompt. I'm writing an email to a potential employer after a bad interview. Can you help me draft it? So you've given some context. It's not just a post-interview email. It's one that you can use when things didn't really go very well. My next tip is to prompt in stages. If you've got a request for ChatGPT or another AI tool and it's quite complex, don't do it all in one prompt. Instead, break it down. So the first prompt I'm going to use is help me outline a YouTube video about productivity. So I'm not asking it to script the video yet. I just want to see what it comes up with. And then I can work with this draft, tweak it, adapt it, add something unique to it, then feed it back into ChatGPT and ask for the next thing. So that ensures that I'm actually happy with the outline before I proceed. So now I'm adding the second prompt, which is now write a script based on that outline. And because I have tweaked the outline slightly, the response is going to be better than it would have been. Tip number 3, be specific about the output you're looking for. So don't just say, write something about mindfulness. Say this instead. Write a 2-paragraph introduction for a blog post about what mindfulness is and its benefits using a conversational tone and ending with a question. So you've told AI the format, tone, length, and topic, which means the result will be much more tailored. Next, provide examples of what you're looking for if you can. So you can paste in something that you've written before, or you can say something like, here's a message I liked. Make something similar but about a different topic. So this tells the AI the style, structure and tone that you want. You can also watch my other video about how to make AI generated content sound more like you, including how to train it to learn from your own work. Ask AI to suggest a prompt and then use that prompt. So let's try this with the following prompt. Suggest 3 prompts I could use to write a viral LinkedIn post about managing underperformance. And let's see what it comes up with. Okay, so I'm actually going to choose the 3rd one, which is about using the line to open a post about the silent message leaders send when they tolerate underperformance, connected to culture, trust and fairness. So I'm just going to copy and paste this suggested prompt. And let's see what it comes up with. So it's done a pretty good job. It's included some emojis as well, and it's definitely structured it as a LinkedIn post. The bonus of this tip is that it also helps you to become better at prompting over time. The next tip is use explain it like I'm 5 in your prompt. If you're looking for a simplified explanation of something, especially something complex, technical, or abstract, then it's a great thing to include in your prompt. For example, what is inflation? Explain it like I'm 5.
So as you can see, she's clear, she's very articulate. And another thing you can do in most videos that people do not realize, you can click on the more, and in her case, she has her videos chunked up into chapters. And I like that because then you can go forward to the chapter you'd like, which is very effective. You can also, many people do not realize, is scroll down and show transcript. I really like this because sometimes I copy and paste from the transcript if I'm looking for, talking about something in that video. So you click on transcript, and what you can see here is that the transcript comes up. So I'm able to see, and if I want to go to that, it'll jump forward to where that is in the transcript. It also cuts it up by chapters if I'm just looking for chapters within it, and then, of course, the entire timeline. So this helps you in my videos as well, and in other videos. I really like this little ability to look at videos, and this is why AI can read YouTube videos, by the way. It will actually go to the transcript when it's analyzing a YouTube video, just an FYI. And you're using that as content to train a chatbot or content to train your notebook LM that we will talk about. So those are different kind of things you can do. But anyways, so this is one of the um, little videos I'm sharing with you that might help you frame how to speak to your AI of choice. So I'm going to go back to our PowerPoint here. And so as we talked about in the first lecture, these are the 3 different go-to AI tools that we'll be using. You can go directly to chatgpt.com on your laptop, or copilot.microsoft.com, or gemini.google.com. Or you can put them on your cell phone, as I have each of them on my cell phone. And they are like your bank account in the sky, where you have an email and password to it. So whether you're using it on your phone or you're using it on your laptop, you're going to the same one. So it'll remember what you worked on before. You can actually go to the AI that you're working on. So Chat GPT, bottom left corner, you can go to it once you've logged in and tell it more about yourself. I really like that. And that is in one of the videos that you could see from Aga here. But what that does is that allows you to tell if you're always going to be using AI for your company. And it's always going to be your company. So maybe you can tell it then that this is what I do at my company. This is the type of conversations I'll have. This is my voice. I want it to be animated and funny. I'm an educator. So who are you? If you tell that, then anytime you ask it something, it's going to know what you just told it. So for me, it knows I'm Sophie Andrell. It says, "Hi, Sophie, how are you?" And it will, if I'm asking a prompt, it already knows certain things. So you can pre-train your tool that you're working with, which is very helpful. If you work with a number of different clients, and so you want a different voice every time you go in, I frame it and I let it know, okay, this time I am so and so. Please, and it recognizes now who that so and so is. So it's pretty cool. So let's just get into prompts, like we said. So again, where do you put a prompt? When you log into chatgpt.com, it comes up with ask anything, what's on your mind today. And the default ChatGPT at this time is ChatGPT 5. It's a very powerful prompt tool. On the left here, if I scroll down to chats, it has all my past threads. So every time you put in one prompt here, it creates a new thread. So I can go back and click on one of the past prompts I had. Perhaps I have one that has to do with chatbots, and I'd like to continue on that thread. I'll go down to that one and I will click on that and I will continue asking it anything about that thread, which is very cool. I can create a new chat. I can search my chats. I was just looking I couldn't remember which tool I used to do my podcast the last time I did the podcast because I really liked it. And so I went in here and I said, search chats for podcasts because I remember creating going back into ChatGPT and asking it to create a checklist for how to create a podcast like that one. So it remembered for me, it brought it up, and I was able to relive that and create that chatbot. So create the podcast that I wanted to show you. Anyway, so there's different places here that you'll see, and then you can use projects, but we won't get into that right now. Okay, so that's where you put that on your laptop. On your cell phone, it just looks very similar, but it's the app on your cell phone that you go to, and it says Ask ChatGPT. Up here, those little lines is where you would go to find all your past threads. So it's very similar. Oh, I forgot to mention, I mentioned it last time, but if you wanted to speak to it, say incognito, where it's not going to put the question you ask it into your threads, it's just asking it once and then it goes away. You would click on this here and it's going to ask it in private mode. When you're on your laptop, you click on this here and that puts you in the private mode, just so that I shared it last time, just in case you forgot. So in Copilot, when you're clicking on copilot.microsoft.com, this is what it comes up with. In this case, hi Sophie, what should we dive in today? So this is where I would ask my question. Or I can go down here and look at my past conversations. I can discover, and we will be talking more about how you can get into some really cool things you can do with Copilot more further than just asking it questions and prompting it. And same with ChatGPT. You can create your own very simple chatbots in each of them now and AI agents. So we'll get into that later. So Gemini, again, you go to Gemini, and here that's your Google product, and it's becoming stronger and stronger and stronger. And so here you go to your prompt, and your prompt goes down here where it says Ask Gemini, and so it knows who I am now. You're logging in with your own name and your email and your password. If you're uncomfortable with it knowing too much about you, of course, you can create a different email and log in with that. So it's really on your comfort level, but it is secure these days. It is your own workspace. Okay. So, and again, like I said before, it's now integrated in your different platforms. So if you are a Microsoft Word user, and Microsoft is your platform of choice. This would be Microsoft Word. And you can see here once you've enabled Copilot or enabled AI, it's Copilot that will be embedded inside of your documents. So we talked about that last time. When you click on that, it opens up within your Word this little panel here, and you can ask it to do certain things. And we'll talk about this more so when we talk about productivity and when we talk about business prompts next week, because we want to, at that point, perhaps build a business plan, and we'll be coming here to do that. Pretty cool, right? Okay, so here are all sorts of different examples of prompts you may want to implement for your business growth. Now, I'm going to be I'm going to be categorizing prompts in several different ways for you. Everyone thinks differently. So some people want to see a list, some people want to see a chart. So I'm hoping that one of the ways that I share with you resonates for you. So if you are simply, looking at how do I use these prompts to help me be a little more effective in what I do and helping grow my business, here are some of the ones that I grabbed for you. So that I can think of, that I know with the past clients and students I've worked with, business people, that these are ones that are being used a lot. So one is planning a client event. You have an event and you'd like it to have X number of people. You'd like it to have a certain vibe to it, and you'd like it a certain time of year. You give it all of the factors in it and ask it now to come back to you with a matrix. Perhaps that's going to tell you the link to the URL, the link to the directions. In the next column, perhaps you would like to know its features. The next column, perhaps you would like to know the price. So it's very simple. It'll do that for you. So you're saving all this research time. It's pretty cool, right? So then it perhaps expanding your business. We were working with one of the students who was expanding their physical business. They were opening up a new location in a new province. And so they were dependent on um, the supply chain management and the transportation. So they wanted to know where the transportation of rail was, and bus, and certain other aspects. And so that determined where the possibilities were that they could move to within that province. And then they needed to know where their kind of potential clients were within those clients. And it mapped out for them the highest likely locations for them and why. That was very significant and helped them, anyway, so that was kind of cool. Staying ahead of the competition, that's one of the ones we'll be diving into next week. I love that one. And that's really thinking about, who are my competition? Like, you may think but it's kind of cool to ask AI that this is the product I have. And first of all, AI, who do you think my demographic is? Who loves my kind of product, and what pain am I solving for them? Asking AI to tell you the pain you're solving for your target client is huge. And then asking it, okay, who else would be considered a competitor to me by my target audience? It comes up with a list. Often there are people on that list that you knew about, and then there's always people you didn't. And you go, wow, that is just mind blowing. And so I love that part. It's a really good aha. If you're looking for a new career or a new job, it would be okay. Here are ask me AI to act as a coach, and ask me, what is it that my skill sets are? What do I excel in? And make it easy, because it's overwhelming when you're looking at who's my target market, or what are my skills, what's my value proposition. Have AI help you. We'll get into that, which is pretty cool. Grant writing. There are grants out there that could help our companies grow, and we're always too overwhelmed to actually write the grant and apply. But AI can help us do that. Knowing my keywords. How is AI going to find me? What keywords are they looking for, and where? Let AI tell you. What are the gaps that it can identify that my target audience is looking for, that I might be able to add to my products? It'll tell you that too. Identify target reach, my clients and partners. who might I partner with to make me even stronger in reaching my clients? What are those channels? It'll tell you that. Social media posts, of course. I think I mentioned this last week. One of the solutions one of my past students came up with was they wanted to, after they identify who their actual target audience was and who their competitors were, they wanted AI to go out on a weekly basis and let them know what their competitors have done new on their websites this past week, and then what posts were most engaging. That was brilliant. And so then AI tells them, here are the 5 posts we suggest you do this week, which will help you stay ahead of your competitors and help you get more engagement by your target audience. So that's been very insightful for us. And then analyzing financial growth and analyzing your financials, understanding them better. We'll be getting into that as well, is how to have AI help you with that. So those are some pretty cool prompts that I'll be sharing with you that you can have and use. And with that, you can use my prompt, of course, but you're going to be tweaking it so that it's your prompt. And I'll be showing you what I mean by that. So the prompt will have these little square brackets or squiggly brackets in them where you will add your descriptor of your business or your product or your location or your circumstance so that you are asking it the question you want. So I'll give you kind of an outline and then you're going to make it yours, right? Okay, so planning an event. So here's a cool prompt. So you can see my squiggly brackets. So what I'm doing here is I'm saying, kind of a general prompt that you might want to use when you're planning an event. It could be any type of an event. And then in the squiggly bracket goes the description of that. So let's just take a look. I am in the process of organizing an event. Well, don't just say an event, indicate the type of event. So it could be a customer appreciation event, could be a grand opening event, which I always suggest people want to go to grand openings because they're curious and you're going to have free munchies. Anyways, and then for a date, you may have a specific date in mind, or you may have a date range that you need help on. With anticipated audience of around, so you need to indicate how many humans. The chosen location will be indicate which area, close to a certain area. I would like, if you can provide 5 possible venues in a rural setting within a 100-kilometer radius. Again, you could have had that in squiggly brackets if you weren't sure exactly what the radius was. Maybe it changes every time you do a different event. Maybe you have some events that are downtown and they have to be other events that are in rural areas. So list from the least to most expensive, along with details of the amenities that each offers. Furthermore, please include a phone number and links to the venue's websites. Please format the table put it in a table. So I love that. And that one I have used for many different types of things, organizing personal parties, helping business to organize their events. So once I have this event, so say it's a grand opening, then I ask AI to create press releases about this. So I will also indicate the press release, the event, and then I will let it know the products. It's going to ask for a couple of quotes. So then I might ask for it, and I would ask for it next to ask it to create certain posts for social media building up to the events, and ask it for the post and what content, what media it thinks I should have along with it. And I just love it because it understands that content needs to be authentic. It needs to be you in the content. The video needs to be authentic. It needs to be exciting. So it'll tell you how to do these things too, which is phenomenal. So as you know, I've taught digital marketing for years and I know what works and what does not work. And it knows what works and doesn't work too. And it's doing a good job. So I'm very thrilled with that. So another type of prompt is a customer service and sales prompt. Knowing my clients, I have an industry in a store, so I have could be a shoe store. It could be, so that's what I meant by industry in the squiggly brackets in a area. So where is it? Is it online? Is it just in Canada online, or is it in a specific region? So, and my target market are So who's your demographics? The age, sex, income level, area. Where's your target market located? How old are they? You could have several different target markets, so you need to indicate that. So this is when you already know your target market. Sometimes, as I said, you want to take a step back if you're not sure. One of the interesting things we did with one AI for one client was they were missing a whole university and college clientele that they didn't realize would love their product because they had a certain price product that was excellent for that group, and that group happened to be in that location. It was an AI said to them, you have a gap. You could be also targeting the university and college students that come to your town. So it was like, oh, duh. Okay, sorry, I mean the duh part. Please list the top 5 keywords they would be searching for my product and services. And keywords are still important. They behave differently with the AI. We'll talk about that in the marketing aspect. So another one is AI single prompts. So we're 3 different tools. So I'm going to share a prompt that I did, and I'm going to share with you the output that happened for Gemini, uh, ChatGPT, and Copilot. The outputs were definitely very different, but they're each very good. So in this case, it was for Chesler shoes, asking it to help me create a prompt that I used recently. So this would be a marketing prompt. Can you please help improve this post? It's for a blank company. So I indicated the company that it was for. Here is the post. So I put in the example of the text for this post. And I indicated the product photo that I was including. Because in this case, it was a product photo that had the owner of the company holding, I think it was Burke's clogs. So then the company information, I indicate the tone, the possible examples of past posts. Now, in this case, some of the some of the different tools that we use have helped me create posts in the past. So it knew who it was for and it knew my voice. When it didn't know, again, it's a new employee. I'm sharing with it information that needs to know at that time. Once the employee or the AI has worked with you for a number of months or weeks or days, it will know the tone, it will know certain things, but sometimes it forgets, I find. So I have to remind it. So the product types, the target demographic. So it needs to know that the target demographic are women over 50, and it needs to know that the call to action in this case was I wanted them to click on a blog that they had just written. So then this was the blog, the response. The actual question was this. I changed it. It was actually I wanted them to she had just written a blog on the 5 top shoes for fall. And what I wanted AI to focus on was how to care for your shoes. And she had water resistance, support and comfort, and the right fit using the right size socks was helpful. This was what Gemini came up with. Stop letting unpredictable weather ruin your fall shoe investment. Kara, our owner, is holding a Birkenstock cozy that everyone wants right now. But finding the right shoe is messy. And so it goes on, and this is the whole prompt. So it's a beautiful prompt. It even has, because I told it that they happen to be in Belleville, Coburg, and Peterborough, it has the correct hashtags and it has more hashtags in there. And it's a great little prompt. So that was one of them. This was the response from Gemini. And then this was the response from ChatGPT. Protect your shoe investment this fall. Here it is. And that means colorful walks, cozy layers, and the perfect pair of shoes. And so then it talks about click here to look at more, and it summarized it beautifully. And I also love the fact that it brought up family owned and trusted for 2 generations. So it was a really beautiful post. I don't use the emojis for them because of their target audience. So when it comes back with these emojis, I always take them out just so for your information. And then at the end of the response, it said, would you like me to make a shorter version under 80 words for Instagram with hashtags for Ontario style Chesler shoes, fall fashions, for example. So now I wanted to share with you something that I like that ChatGPT does. So what it does is at the end here, most people miss it, is there's these little dots where you could have it read out loud what it just did for you in case you want to hear it. But it also says branch in you chat. So what that means is you can continue the question, but say you'd like to go this way with this because you'd like to explore perhaps the follow up posts for this. Perhaps you'd like a second post or a series of posts or a follow up blog. So you'd like to go that way. So you can open up a new chat branch from this one, which will show up like a new thread on the side. Uh, and then you can continue with this one if you want. So it'll show up like two threads, which is kind of cool. So sometimes you're going to want to do that with the questions it asks because it's asking you if you'd like it to make a shorter version. So you'd like it maybe to continue with that shorter version, but you also want to go this way on another question. So that's something that's there that a lot of people miss. And you can say it, you like it. I like doing that because I like it to know the responses I've liked because then it knows that I want more like this. So it gets to know the voice of what I'm talking about. If I want to just copy what they just did, I can just click on copy there and I'll copy it. If I want it regenerated, that's what those little arrows are. It just regenerates it. So all I want you to do is just practice, try it, and it doesn't hurt. You can always go and erase the thread after you've created it, keep the thread. So then in Copilot, it came out with something beautiful. I ended up using a combination, I think, of Copilots and ChatGPT. Fall footwear that works as hard as you do. Discover your soulmate. That soulmate was a little cheesy for me. Anyways, meet Kara, the owner of our comfort, owner and comfort connoisseur. I like that. So, anyways, I used parts of it because I thought it was kind of cool. And then she came out with the aspects of it. Then it said, would you like me to tailor it for an email, social media, in-store signage? I can also help turn in this to a mini campaign, matching visuals. So I thought that was really cool. I did ask it to create I'll show you. I asked it to create let's just go over here and see if I can find it immediately for you. There we go. So then I went over to Copilot and I asked Copilot to create an image, and I so much like this better, right? So I don't like the text on my image, but I do like this. And so I asked it to move the spray because the spray was further down. This was protecting the boots. So, and it actually got kind of what Kara looks like with her purple hair, the top she was wearing. So it was much more authentic. And that's what I really liked about it. So each one I went to and I asked it to then create an image for what I was doing, and I was really happy with the outcome. So, anyway, so there you have some ideas on how you can use these three and how different they are. So, what kind of content would you like to create more of? So, you want to take a second and think about that. What kind of content do you want to create more of? Is it so? Think about that and think about how we would approach the prompt for that. So here's all the different content types: social media, blog types, video types, podcasts, images, newsletters, emails, flyers, product descriptions, home listings if you're a realtor, course materials if you're a trainer, like myself and Elizabeth and a few other people we got to meet on the course. I'm quite excited about that. Presentation materials, financial statements, annual reports, meeting minutes. That's something we'll be talking about on productivity because I love the meeting minute ability that Zoom has. It's amazing. Quotes, grants, news releases, resumes. So much you can have it help you with. Cover letters. And then, of course, content type, strategy, and financial prompts. So what I've done now is I've tried to categorize the different types of prompts into different categories for you. So the category missing or underexposed content types and why they're important for prompts. So sales and prospecting. So what's your sales pitch, perhaps? And in this case, we would be talking about what's really cool to ask AI to be is your sales expert in a particular industry, right? And so you can ask AI to do that. Now, all of a sudden, that's who you have as this new employee, the best salesperson ever in that industry. And you're asking him or her to, perhaps help you with a script that would be used for all of the objections clients might have and how you would use their the value add that your product has for their objections. Your product's too expensive, your product takes too long, it's too complicated. Like what are their objections, and have it help you frame your script around that. Strategy and planning. So your mission and vision statements, defining the company's core purpose, helping you, and that would be a complex kind of back and forth with AI. HR onboarding, job descriptions, postings, critical for small businesses and hiring staff, whether it's your first staff or multiple staffs. So it's clear, legal, attractive, attracting top talent. Operations, standard operation procedures, step-by-step guidelines for repeating repetitive tasks. So it can generate these documents based on past documents, essential, looking at industry best practices for you, going to different websites and looking at and doing all the research. You would have a new employee who you've hired, who's an expert, who has this type of depth and background, creating this material for you. Customer service, live chat bots, and live client responses. So scripting for the automated common customer interactions. What are your frequently asked questions? You can get this new AI employee that you have to create the script for the chatbot, collect the information that you would need. So it's pretty amazing, whether it's looking at your current files that you have in your own systems, and I'll show you how you do that, or whether it's helping you craft the correct type of chatbot. Then it's helping you create the chatbot and implementing it. Data analysis. So it could be looking at raw data in an Excel spreadsheet and then helping you understand the decision, the gaps that it's seeing, the trends that it's seeing. And so these are different types of things that you can do with prompts. Another content type, like I said, is the complex prompt, where the AI acts as a business coach. And this one is exciting when you see it in action because it's growing uh, your creativity as you go along. It's really helping you grow. So these topics require AI to assume an expert persona and engage in multi-level questions back and forth. So it generates an outline and then it'll ask you, say, for clarification with each one. So if you want to think of it creating the chapters of your resume, and then it asks you to input each of the sections, or it's creating the outline of a business plan. And then what happens is it gives you advice on how to rewrite something so that it's more effective, it's better than whoever else they might be looking at. Your business plan, it's bringing in trends that are current and showing examples. If you're looking for a grant, it's helping you understand what they're looking for and how you can position yourself. So it could be financial plan strategy, could be marketing and sales prompts, HR, legal, and nonprofit prompts. So many different ones. So this one, did I already talk about this one? No, I did. This is another one that talks about um, visual model planning. So some of us have seen SWOT analysis, and I do love asking AI to create a SWOT analysis for me. Look at my competitors and create a SWOT analysis, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for each one of my competitors compared to myself. Those are powerful. So here, this one, it's saying act as a venture capitalist. My business is describe the business, conduct a SWOT analysis and a competitive landscape view, ask me 3 clarifying questions, then build a business model canvas outline populating the problem, the solution, and the key activity sections. Those are things that you need to do. So that helps when you are looking for funding to that it shows whoever you're looking for funding from that you have investigated all of these aspects. You're not just dreaming. So long-term strategy roadmap, act as a 5-year strategic consultant. My goal, state the goal that you have currently, generate a 3-phase growth roadmap. Phase 1, stabilization. Phase 2, growth. Phase 3, expansion. For each phase, list the top 3 objectives and the KPIs for measures of success. So that's a huge one. And of course, it'll help you create that. Financial and narrative forecasts act as a financial storyteller. I have provided my Q3 P&Ls data. I analyze this data to identify the biggest revenue driver and cost center. Write a 250-word summary for our board of directors explaining the financial health and justifying a $10,000 budget increase for my fourth quarter marketing campaign. So these are just examples of very powerful, complex posts prompts. And then marketing and sales prompts. I've got one more after this. So go to market planning. So as your go to market plan, act as a fractional chief marketing officer, CMO, where we're launching what the new product is, indicate what it is, generate a go to market plan outlining focused on the first 60 days. The plan must include ideal customer profiles, primary messaging pillars, and recommended channel strategies for my initial outreach. Pretty powerful stuff, right? So, content strategy and CEO, act as a content strategist. You're telling it who to be. My target audiences, tell it your target audience, giving it more context. Identify the top 10 long tail keywords they are using, that my target audience is using, related to your specific industry. Tell it your industry. These group these 3 content clusters and generate pillar pages outline for the most commercially viable cluster. And you could ask it for explanations. You can ask it to dig further. This is powerful. And then customer objective handling. This is one that there's a lot of light bulbs that go over people's heads when they see this. Because you're not just selling features, you're selling solutions. You're selling how you're going to solve their pain points. So if they have objections, you need to know what they are. So act as a sales trainer. My customer frequently objects to our pricing by saying, your competitor's cheaper. Create a 3-step reputable script that is empathetic, but pivots to the value added of my features and ends with a strong closing question. So that's an excellent one as well. And finally, we've got our legal and nonprofit prompts, ethical AI policy drafting. Another one is onboarding and culture. Act as a cultural consultant. Our core value lists the 3 values. Create a first day onboarding checklist for new employees. Checklist must integrate one activity that reinforces each core value. So that's pretty cool. Grant proposal outlines, so you can read yourself. So these are some 3 HR nonprofit kind of prompts that would be very valuable to you. So this one I have simply my prompts by category. So again, you might be thinking of prompts within strategic planning, sales and marketing, marketing, client support, other prompts under productivity, finance, human resources, and cybersecurity. So those are just things I wanted to share with you. And now we're getting into some prompts. If you wanted an educational prompt, which I think are excellent, creating educational blogs where you are the teacher. You are explaining something, which then shows that you're the expert. So these are good things to do as blogs on your website, because as we know, blogs attract people, attract AI, because you're giving it answers. It's good for SEO. So get the AI tool you are working with to create your blogs. The type of blogs that are useful are educational blogs. So your exercise could be, please write an educational blog on 5 ways my target audience, whoever your target audience is, can use whatever your product or service is, or your own skills, if this is all about you and your skills, to address their related pain points. highlight how my product or services for yourself will help them heal their pain. Write these 5 social media posts to bring people back to this blog. And let me know what photos or videos I should use. So those are powerful. SWOT analysis. This is an example of what your SWOT analysis. Very simple. Please give me a SWOT analysis for whoever your client is. So in this case, or whoever you are, focusing on its marketing position, and they are located wherever you're located. And that comes out with here's the SWOT analysis example that it had created for these guys out of Coburg, Ontario. And this one is Copilot. And you could see that it's a very powerful SWOT analysis. Gemini came out with a few pages of SWOT analysis for them. One, two, just 2 pages. And then ChatGPT came out with this 2 pager SWOT analysis with their strengths, weaknesses, and threats, which are just beautiful. And then it came out with further impact analysis and next steps. So I really like the SWOT analysis from ChatGPT. Then it also came out with what they should prioritize. It was a very powerful analysis for what this company should do. So again, I suggest if you have your company, you may want to do your own SWOT analysis immediately. You'll find it invaluable. So, complex SWOT analysis is where you ask it to ask you questions along the way, and you'll build on the SWOT analysis. And that's what this one is. So, take the role of an expert who can look at situations from multiple angles and spot what most others are going to miss. And so, you can read this one on your own. Again, I'm giving you all of these prompts so you can try them out. So, customer service and sales, knowing my client, it's one of my favorite ones. I own an industry. I own blank a store in this case in a certain area. My target market includes who your demographics are. Can you identify the complementary products and services they'd be interested in buying locally from me, even if these items are currently unavailable in my area? I would say, especially if they're not available in my current area. So then it comes out with things that you would add as complementary to what you have, not free. I mean, to complement it. And and that adds more value to what you are offering. So this is something that you may or may not choose to do, but it's very insightful. So I am going to just continue here. So you want to take a look at all these prompts on your own. Social media posts, of course, my blank industry will open a new location and a soft launch in person press conference celebration to everyone a certain date. And please extract our strengths from the above in our story. And what I ask, this one's all about asking for 10 posts to go along with that news release I talked about earlier that you ask it to do. And here's the prompt for the news release, right? So it's very powerful. And then the complex prompts I promised you. Here are all the complex prompts. Here's one for a business plan. This is what you would put in to ask it to come out with the sections of the business plan and what it's going to ask you along the way to fill in your business plan. Here's the one that it's going to ask you for creating your financial report. Okay. So it's got all the different areas of a financial report in this prompt for you, and you can fill in the blanks. So that's what I wanted to talk about for prompts. So that in itself is a full lecture, but I want to continue now and just have a few moments to talk about chatbots. So I'm going to do that. Okay. So let's continue. So AI chatbots. AI chatbots, this is going to be a little longer than I wanted it to be, but we'll survive. Okay. The AI chatbots that I wanted to share with you is there are some simple ones that you can create, and then there's some more complex ones. So today I'm just introducing them to you. So in case the chatbot route is one of the ones you want to go on, I want you to at least know how to approach them. Okay. So one is what's a chatbot? There's 2 types, and the old type of chatbot that you would see when you went to someone's website and there would be a bubble there on the bottom right. It's been around for a while. You could ask it any questions. That was before AI, and it had a series of answers that it knew, and that's all it knew. You had to ask a question that matched the question that was there and the answer. It didn't think in natural language like AI does. It matched the question. It was like an extreme matchmaker. Whereas or it was like when you're doing a phone call, press one for this, press two for that, press three for that. And that's all it could do. You couldn't ask it an open-ended question for it to answer. It was very strict. However, generative, where it's now generating the response and the answer and and the question and the response to you, is what AI is about. It's smart bots. So how that works is it uses natural language and it understands a question, and then it matches the content it has and creates your response. So it's not looking at just a series of answers, it's matching it. And it helps, and it's much more effective in sounding like your voice, sounding like your brand. It helps people grow their business because it's able to get you better leads. You can look at the stats afterwards and see what people are really asking for, and you can modify what you have on your website, what you have as an offering. So it's an interesting ability. Then customer service, it's less frustrating because people are able to get what they're looking for. Because what happens with the chatbot, it's understanding plain old English, or understanding the plain language that the person is talking to them in, regardless, like we talked about translation. It can be translated into several languages at once. It can understand several languages. So now we're getting into a bit more complex chatbots. And now you're able to have your answers in English if that's your mother tongue, but it's going to answer in the person's uh, language of choice. So that's pretty exciting. So you've got more complex ones that you can create. And you can then look at the stats and see exactly what people are looking for. But you can also barge in, and that one's more technical as well, or more expensive than the simple ones. Where if something is going off the rails, you can have staff that listens or understands what's going on during a chat, and they barge in and they help. Hi, I'm a live agent. How can I help you? It could also have an out where someone wants to talk to a live agent or not. You don't have to go that route if you don't have live humans. If you want them to be able to talk to a live person at any time, or at certain times, you can have it be routed to a live person. So there are different things you can do with the smart chat bots that you could not do with the simple ones before. So, with regards to chat bots, the value proposition of a chat bot is customer service. You're going to available 724. They can deflect where you're handling simple queries. And then if it gets complex where somebody wants a human, you can share that um, person with the human. So it's answering frequently asked questions. It's tracking and providing content and stats back. It can check or store hours. It can check stats. It can check your specs. It knows things that the human just wouldn't be able to find when they're online looking at your products, or they're stuck in the middle of nowhere and they only have their cell phone. So it's very useful. Lead generation, that's a lot of people are using chatbots for lead generation. Sales or e-commerce, they're using chatbots to upsell. Internal operations, they're using chatbots to help with onboarding. They're using chatbots for new employees or existing employees that are looking for human resource help, looking to understand specs of their product. And there's just looking for marketing information. They have a complex kind of service offering. So there's so much you can feed a chatbot. If you have students and you'd like to upload all of your student information about the course, or if you're looking to upload your actual course material, they can ask information about the course material at any time, and it can look through the content and give it questions. You can get your chatbot. So you decide what content your chatbot knows and how people interface with it. And then non-profits, they can look at how donors engage with it, answering questions for the volunteers, so many different ways that you can use a chatbot. So, simple cases. So, if we have simple cases for chatbots, the how to type, so these are how to create a chatbot. So, in Copilot, you can now create a chatbot. You can go right into Microsoft 365 and create a chatbot right in Microsoft 365 or Microsoft Enterprise if you have access to it. So at the top left corner, it's called actually Agents on Microsoft, and that's where you can create a chatbot. And you can upload your content, upload your files, and they have access to now asking questions on that chatbot, to that chatbot. ChatGPT is the same thing. It now has built into it the ability to create a chatbot. So that might be the route you want to go. It's a simple chatbot. You don't have the barge in tool yet. It does give you some stats, and I think there's a limited number of content you can upload to it. But that can give you a simple way to start off with a chatbot if you want. Another one is Gemini also has its own ability to create chatbots too. So each of these tools that we've become used to in the last month or so allow you to now create simple chatbots. So I wanted to share that with you. Then there are chatbots that are a little more complex, and those ones would be something called Tidio, Tidio, or ManyChat. Those ones are now been around for a while, and often they're built into your websites. So if you have a website, it often now has an affiliation with a chat bot that you can put right into your website, like Wix websites do, and it's Tidio, and it'll help you build the flow. I want someone to come in. I want them to have access to all of this information. So I'm going to upload these documents. I'm going to upload these videos. I'm going to upload all of these websites. So when someone asks an information to my chatbot in English, it's going to answer in English, but it's going to look at all this information lightning speed and answer it from that information. So, and then you're also able to do that similar thing, Copilot, ChatGPT, or Gemini. But the difference with Tidio is that now you can also, when they get frustrated, Tidio allows them to say, I'd like a live person. And now that allows them to exit the chatbot and wait for a live person. And that's something that you may really need to do. So if you're only using the chatbot for internal onboarding and general information for your website, you may not need something as complex as Tidio. It's not that expensive, and you can also use this approach that you're using that chatbot in your website, but also in your social media if you wanted to. So it's pretty cool. So those are the ones I wanted to share with you. And then there's another tool. What's next here? Another tool, simple chatbots. No, this is the exact same uh, matrix as the last one. It's just simpler, standard Chat GPT or Gemini, and it could say, or Copilot, allow you to create really quick chat bots, core prompting, and you just you're using prompts as we know how now to create your chatbots. Very simple. And that's your free version. You can have a paid version of ChatGPT and or Gemini, as I do. I have the pro version, and it actually customizes it a little more. So it comes up like you can tell it how to sound. So it personalizes the chatbot a bit more. Again, you're just using your current Gemini or your current ChatGPT, and it's my pro version gives me a little more abilities for my chatbot. I can brand it. I can increase what it can ask. And then this one I really love called Notebook LM. I'll be spending quite a bit of time on Notebook LM when we get to um, some of the productivity tools, but it's well worth looking at. Notebook LM, if you have in whole bunch of documentation, videos, documentations, websites that you'd like your staff to understand, You upload it all to Notebook LM. It's free. And what they're and or your students, if you'd like your students to have access to it. And what you're able to do is they can ask it questions. It'll provide a word map that shows them how it works, meaning it'll take everything you've uploaded and it'll categorize it into, say, 5 categories. And then someone clicks on that category and it opens up another tree with all of the subheadings in that category that it has found and pulled together through all the material you just uploaded. Then you click on one of those if you're interested in it, and it up does another tree. So then you click on it, finally it comes up with the content you're really looking for. So it takes a whole bunch of complex data input um, documents and it summarizes it for them. That's kind of cool. But what's really cool is it can create a video of that same topic that you just uploaded, bringing together all those documents and videos and creating a video. It will also, if you want, create a podcast of that same content, which is so amazing. So it'll create flashcards, it'll create a quiz. So the quiz, maybe I'll use this to create the quiz for this course. I'm going to create, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a Notebook LM for this course. I'll give you access to it. So I'll put up all of the content. And from that, I'll create the first quiz and we'll see how that goes. Good luck. Okay. And then, of course, there's, as I said, Tidio, which is, and then they've got one that's Bot Sonic, which I have not tried, but it's an external chatbot, a customer chatbot with websites for website supports, 724 support, customer frequently asked questions, and that one is does cost a little bit more, and it's a trusted source. So I'm really excited about those three to share it with you. So chatbots, a simple tool. This one is the one that was called LM Notebook that I will share with you in more detail, but I highly recommend it. You're able to upload PDFs, slides, documents, URLs, and what's missing here is YouTube videos. There it is, YouTube videos as well. So it's very powerful, and it creates the output is amazing what it creates. You'll find that useful. And then the next one I wanted to share with you is if you're looking to create a voice-enabled phone support chatbot, that is something that has come online recently. It's a little more complex because you need to, it's like a virtual receptionist. So it's text to speech. It's understanding the speech and it's understanding your speech, and it's also looking at all this text that you've uploaded, documents that you've uploaded, and it's translating it back in speech to the person. So it can seamlessly then also escalate if you have someone standing by. So you would indicate if someone is standing by or not, and it can escalate. So it sounds like a human, and it actually, the voice sounds like a human, not robotic, and the language sounds like a human. So it's a lot more personable. So again, I haven't tested these. I like to only share things that I have tested, but these are becoming more and more available and more tested out there, and something that I would love it if it happens to be a solution that someone wants to do in this course. Then I will look into it and test it with you. So this is just some examples of the platforms that my AI tool recommended: virtual receptionist and the tool platform. So if you want a virtual receptionist, is Good Call or My AI Front Desk. If you want an AI call center, contact center, an AI contact center. So it could be something called DialPad, AI voice again, or Ring Central, AI receptionist. Or if you want a developer tool at low cost, which I would not be able, this course is not about coding, so I'm not even going to look at that last column. So again, you've got someone out on the road and they're looking for help and they want to do it through voice. This might be what you want to look at. You're out on the road, you're a tourism organization and you don't want people typing, you want them to be able to ask something. This might be what you want to look at. Oh, and these diagrams on the side, I had AI create them for me. So I went into AI and which one created this? I think Gemini created these both for me, and they're great. So that's what I want to share with you. Okay, so assignment one. So this is my introduction to assignment one. So in this case, the prompt was create a doll of me in a blister pack, put me in a sophiandrell.com. I want a black leather, and then the square brackets. I want a black leather skirt just past my knees with a white top with a few large red flowers and blue flowers on them. I want my red glasses. I want red ankle boots, plus add my cell phone and laptop, my two dogs, and I wanted I told them who my dogs' names were, and I wanted a kayak, and I'd like it all in a blister pack. And it asked me if you need more information. Also, um, please create a trading card style bio, something like a business leader, trainer by day, extraordinary wife, dog mom, kayaking by night. My hair I want is down to my waist now. I've lost 15 pounds. Thank you. And so I want to be more athletic looking, and I'd love my logo on it. And so this one came from Gemini and it came out really well. So I did upload a photo to it of me with shorter hair and more weight on. And I did upload a photo of my two dogs. So it did a really nice job. And I just went one iteration, and this is what it came out with. And then this was the back part of it, where I said I also wanted the back part, the training card. So this came out with Super Sophie. I didn't ask it to do that. And it came out with the back part of my trading card. So I love it. Signature moves, time saver, automates, spin boring stuff, so people can focus on their good art stuff. And so, no, I'm not reading that properly. So this one is the one that ChatGPT created. Now I had to go back and forth about 5 times before it came out with this. The first one, I looked like I was 400 pounds. I did not like it at all. And they got my name wrong. They called me Sylvia. And I thought ChatGPT knew me the best, and it really messed up. The dogs didn't look like my dogs. So it was interesting. So I had to go back and forth. I even scolded it a little bit. I thought you knew me better than that. And I thought, oh my goodness, he's not going to talk to me anymore. But I love how it ended up coming out. I really like the back side. I like the front side. So I don't know which one I like better now. So I love this, and it's pretty cool. And then this one I don't like at all. This one was Copilot. I've never looked like that. My dogs are very accurate though. So, and then they wanted to print the back as a card for me versus putting it on like the other ones did. So this could be your assignment one, where you are creating an action figure, your AI representation of yourself. The reason it's good exercise is you get to play with the prompts and see how frustrating they can be or how exciting they are. And then another one I did to create an introduction for myself, just in case you wanted to use that instead, was let's see if it was here. Yeah, on 11 Lab Studio, I asked it to create where did it go? Let's see. I asked it to create a podcast for who I am, and that was something I would upload as an example. So here is an example that I created, and so I simply uploaded a bio of me, kind of like my resume, and I asked it to create a podcast. I chose which voices I wanted to speak through it, and it's like being at a radio announcements. But listen to this; it's brilliant. I went through and I changed, I tweaked it a little bit, but this is what they wrote about me based on my resume.
Here's something wild. During the pandemic, one woman helped transform over 300 businesses from brick and mortar to thriving online operations. And that's just the beginning of Sophie Andreo's impact. Now she's helping them with their smart and safe artificial intelligence solutions.
You know what's fascinating about her approach? She combines this high-level engineering background with really practical, down-to-earth business solutions.
Well, she was actually way ahead of the curve on this. Back in 2003, she developed one of the first university courses on digital marketing at Trent. teaching thousands of students before most businesses even had websites.
That's incredible foresight. How is she adapting these teaching methods for today's AI landscape?
So here's what's interesting. She's created this comprehensive system that takes AI from theoretical to practical. Her agency works with everyone from small local shops to major community development corporations, basically demystifying the whole process.
You know, that combination of technical expertise and community involvement really sets her apart.
Exactly right. And what's really exciting is how she's using her engineering background to bridge that gap between complex AI systems and practical business applications. It's like she's creating this blueprint for small business digital transformation.
Hmm. So she's essentially building the future of small business technology, one company at a time.
And that's really the key takeaway here. Artificial intelligence doesn't have to be this intimidating force. With the right guidance, it can be a practical tool for any business looking to grow.
Whoa,
Here's
stop,
something
stop,
wild.
stop,
During the
stop. Okay.
pandemic,
So I
one
added some music to it. I could have added more music to it. I could have, it has all of these different things you can do after it creates your script. It has all these different things. Now, this I created with 11labs.io, 11labs.io. And I think because I wanted more than 5 projects, I could have done for free less than 5 projects, but because I am doing more than 5 projects, it's $5 a month. So it was well worth it. As you also may remember, I created on HeyGen my digital twin, where I have with HeyGen, I have myself as an avatar now. And with this avatar, I have it's cloned my voice. So that's another way you can introduce yourself. Again, it depends on what you're going to be doing with your final project and with AI in the future. If it's going to be something where you're creating videos of yourself and you'd like it to be a video AI, then we talked about that last week that you want a clear background. So if I was to do it again, I would make sure I had nothing behind me or I'd have green screen so that I could put myself in a forest or put myself in a business meeting, or I can put myself in different situations. Right now, because my background is so busy, I can only use it like this. But anyways, so we talked a little bit about that last week, and we're going to be talking a lot more about these when we get to our fourth session together on AI marketing. And then we'll be talking about how to use all of these different tools. So what you want to think about is how you're going to use, let me stop this from playing, how you're going to use AI for your solution, for yourself, and maybe you can use that to help yourself decide what you want your first project to be. I want it to be fun. I want you to introduce yourself, put the link to it on the Blackboard, but I also want you to perhaps have this as a building block to whatever you are going to do for your final solution, if that makes sense. Okay, so that's it. And next week, when we're together, we're going to be talking about business market and business planning and market planning. And again, using those prompts that I shared with you on these and jumping in further to it. And then we'll be talking about your solutions again, and maybe I'll start seeing some of your first projects coming in, your first assignment where you're introducing your AI self, and I'll share those as well. Okay, take care.